Today's case is something of a phenomenon. It's not the typical true crime case that we are used to. You know, when it comes to true crime, we are all used to there has to be a crime scene, there has to be detectives, there has to be a victim, there has to be a survivor, there has to be somebody to blame. But with today's case, it has all these elements apart from one. Who are we blaming? I want you to picture something. Have you ever had a Coke bottle or maybe any other soda bottle? It's brand new, you've shaken it completely, and then the moment you open, it explodes, right? If you have a champagne bottle, you do the same. You have to shake it, and when you pop it, it explodes everywhere. Today's case is what exactly happened. The same situation that happened with a champagne bottle, the same thing that happened with a Coca-Cola bottle is what happened to 1,700 people in Cameroon. Today's case is the explosion of the lakes in Cameroon. I'll take us first to Lake Monoun in Cameroon. I don't know if I've said it right, Lake Monoun, Lake Monoun or something. Just tell me in the comment sections. But in 1984, this was way back, in Africa at that time, people were still developing, people were still coming out of the whole tribal things, people were still embracing the modern elements. And in this one particular village, people were just having a nice, calm day in August of 1984. And you know how people in the villages are. There are some people who go to the lake to fish. Some people go there and wash their clothes. Some will go to their farms. Kids are playing all around. I don't think there were schools back then, but even if they were, it was one of those cultural schools. And people enjoyed their day, spent their day. Those that had a bad day had those bad days, and they all went to bed. But the next morning, 17 people never made it to the next morning. They just passed away in their sleep. And it was a phenomenon at the time. People are like, what happened? People just went in their sleep. Maybe this is just something cursed. African countries, that's what we do. If you cannot explain something, just say you're cursed. And in 1986, literally 2 years later, same thing happened. All the way in Lake Nyos, still in Cameroon, a similar occurrence happened. But this time, it was 1,000 times fold. So in Lake Nyos, on this time, I don't remember what month it was. I believe it was also on August or something, but just check the facts. But it was still 1986. People in this village, there were 3 villages, I believe, close to this particular lake, and people are enjoying their day once again. People are just having a blast. There are some people who are fishing. There's some people who are swimming. There's some people just playing with rocks. People are playing skip the rock by the lake. Women are washing their clothes. Farmers are farming. People are having the time of their lives. Just a typical normal day at the village. And I'm pretty sure they never heard whatever happened at Lake Monoun, or maybe they just thought, once again, a curse would never reach us. And they all went to bed, but the next morning, only 840 woke up.
It was at night. I was asleep with my children. I heard an explosion but didn't make much of it. When I woke up the next morning, I discovered some of my children were dead. Those who were still alive would cough out some powdery substance. I was also affected.
You can imagine that you go to bed and then you wake up, and when you wake up, you just are faced with silence and just bodies all around. Bodies of people, animals, even a housefly never made it to the next morning. And people were now shocked because this time 1,700 people lost their lives plus 3,500 animals. And also plants were not thriving. There was just a lot of chaos going around. It was like the plague, You remember the time in the Bible where Moses was just sending out curses from the gods, right? And people are now confused because at that time, investigations, for a phenomenon like this, I wouldn't know what to do. If it was in a developed country, let's say in the States or in Canada or in Japan, some people would have said, oh, this is a biological attack. That's why people just fell asleep and never woke up. But for this particular reason, it was a natural disaster. Something happened that they could not control, and still to this day, we cannot control. I want to teach you guys about something. It's called a Limnic eruption. And you might be wondering, Kenzie, what's a limnic eruption? Well, a limnic eruption is just picture, the same way I told you in the beginning, picture a Coke bottle, right? You shake it, you shake it, you shake it, you shake it, you shake it. And the pressure is increased, right? Even the bottle gets so hard. And then the moment you open the lid, sprays everywhere. That's a limnic eruption. But in this case, it happens in lakes, where lakes just gather up carbon dioxide. I don't know where they get this carbon dioxide from, underground, and it's normally deep, deep lakes. And you'll find that this carbon dioxide just bubbles up. It just stays underground. It just stays there, just dormant, right? And then one day, a disturbance on the lake. It could be somebody's boat. It could be heavy rains. It could be a landslide. It could be earthquakes. Just anything to disrupt this lake, because lakes are normally stagnant, right? They do not move. They're just there. They're deep. You can imagine it's like something in a cup, like your cup of tea. No movement, nothing. It's stagnant. And then when you shake your cup of tea, obviously the water displaces. And this is what happened to Lake Monoun and Lake Nyos. Somehow, they never got the evidence, but somehow the lake got disrupted. And the difference between Lake Monoun and Lake Nyos is that the disruption at Lake Monoun was so minute that only those affected were the ones near the lake. But for Lake Nyos, it spread out to nearby villages. And the worst thing is, for something like this to happen, it's normally silent. It's not like a bomb. It's not like a nuke. You won't hear soldiers coming. You won't hear screams. It's just a cloud of heavy smoke that just rises from the river or maybe from the lake, and it just rises, and it's invisible. You can't even see it. And the worst thing is, carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. So if it rises into the air, it displaces the oxygen in the air. So you can imagine it's a layer. There's carbon dioxide, and then the oxygen goes on top, meaning everybody within the surrounding areas of that lake will get suffocated. You will just go peacefully in your sleep. But for those that survived, they said that they felt it the moment they woke up. Maybe somebody was going to the bathroom. You know, those moments when it's 3 a.m. and then you wake up, you decide to go to the bathroom, and then you just feel something in the air, right? Now for them, they were saying the same thing. They woke up. Some of them were light sleepers, so they felt some choking, and then they woke up. The air was dense. They could not breathe. Some of them passed out. Some of them, when they were rescued, they had no memory of what happened. They were just gassed out. It's like they were gassed out. And to this day, scientists cannot even say what causes it. How do we stop it? They only have ways of mitigating it, because since 1984 and 1986, they decided to go to those lakes and then install vertical pipes that would release this carbon dioxide into the air slowly, so that it doesn't what do I call it? Oh my God. So that it doesn't not collide, not guys, help me out in the comments. When you say that things just, it doesn't shove into the atmosphere all at the same time, you know? When something just gets pressurized and then it just disperses. That's what they're trying to prevent. But now they're saying in Rwanda, there's a case like this that could happen, and they've been trying to stop it. And it's in Lake Kivu in Rwanda. But what makes Lake Kivu different from these two other lakes is that Lake Kivu has methane content. And if you are a science buff, I'm not a science buff, this is just something that I could gather from science buffs online. If a lake has methane content and this methane content gets released in air, methane is flammable. Meaning, if this case happens in Rwanda, God forbid, it won't be just that people are getting suffocated. It means that you have suffocation and possibilities of epic fires happening all around. Meaning people are getting burned, things are getting destroyed. It will be catastrophic. It's literally whatever was written in Revelation. And I think that's what they were trying to do in the Bible, guys. Because sometimes when you read the Bible and then they tell you that there are natural disasters happening, it's scientifically explained. And you try and think and just try and think whatever these guys were going through. You guys went to bed, you woke up, you are one of the few that survived. You are one of the 840, let's say, that survived. You can imagine, you just went to bed, you woke up, and then when you woke up, your neighbor is no more. Your friend is gone in their sleep, and then there's nobody you can report to because these are remote areas, and then the government comes, they cannot explain it. Mind you, most of these people are not literate, so you can't tell them, oh, there was a Limnic eruption that happened. So people will just go on for years telling this folklore that, oh, you know what, some lakes will just erupt and now people are punished by their gods because they did A, B, C, and D, because that's what happens in Africa. If something is unexplained, you're cursed and you're getting punished for it. But in the recent years, there hasn't been any other case like this. It's only happened in Africa. 2 cases and 1 that's still pending. They're still trying to figure it out if it will erupt or not. And if you're right there and you're wondering, oh, does it happen to all lakes? That's the mystery. We do not know because we don't know where the carbon dioxide comes from in the first place. This is all happening in underground. And you'll find that Lake Nyos and Lake Monoun, there were two different lakes because Lake Nyos sat on a crater. So there was volcanic activity. Lake Monoun, no volcanic activity. Lake Kivu has methane in it. These other two lakes do not have methane in it. So you don't know. Maybe perhaps the lake in your nearby town could be the next thing. But scientists should just try and figure it out, because when it comes to crimes like this, if something like this happens, people have lost their lives, you have no one to blame. Literally, it's a natural disaster. Who are you blaming? But I want you guys to go into the comment section. Tell us, what do you think about this case? Perhaps there is some theory behind it, because some people were saying, conspiracy theorists in Reddit were saying that maybe something was happening underground and that's what caused this eruption to happen, that it wasn't something natural. Because for just a still lake overnight to decide to pop up and just release carbon dioxide is a weird phenomenon, unexplained and weird. But until next time, I'll take you to a different case in Ethiopia where we'll cover more natural disasters. And until then, this has been Mystery and Mayhem.